Hi everybody, welcome back to Shell Style Stitches. Hope you are all okay. So this video is going to be my work in progress video for you this week. So I have started something new, and that's because I finally finished my Toft Queen doll. So I did leave all the fiddliest bits till last. Probably not the best idea. So sometimes I did sort of have to work up giving them a go. It wasn't actually that it was too difficult a technique, it was just fiddly. So a lot of like the jewellery etc is done quite small with beads. So it's just a bit fiddly and gnarly trying to get your hook in around your bead and everything. And I finished on, ironically, Queen Elizabeth II's 96th birthday on Thursday. So without further ado, let me introduce you to Toft Queenie. Here she is, and she's got her robe. Look how long it is. There we go. There's her robe with a little crest crown on there. Here she is with all her regalia and jewellery. She's got a, I redid the sash. It annoyed me how I'd sewn it together, so I unpicked it and I sewed it together like a proper sash. So that's the OCD in me. So I've done that. We've obviously got her bracelet now. She's got her little earrings on and necklace. And then we will zoom in for you. This side. So she's got her crown here with all her little beading in the top of the crown, which goes round. And you can see all her lovely curly hair. So this was, I hadn't done this before. This was chain loops. So you're doing some that were 10 stitches long and some that were 15 to obviously give a, looks like the permed effect, the granny perm. And I did run out of a little bit of cream in my kit, but that I think was because I wanted to make sure I had decent coverage. This might be a bit too much, I don't know. It does obviously fill up quite nicely. But yeah, from the front with her little nose, button nose. And her little earrings here. Yeah, the crown sits up quite nicely there in her hair. I have sewn sort of the crown on, obviously the earrings are sewn on. The necklace, it did do, I think it was meant to be longer, and I have sort of stitched it together and stitched it onto her neck at the back because I didn't like how long it came down. So I've done it so it sits quite high up for her. But I think some people sort of came down to about here. I didn't like that. So I tweaked it slightly to how I wanted it. That's the wonder of these. Her head is slightly wobbly, but not too bad because her robe at the back here can support it. So here's her robe in its full glory. So we've got all the sides now sewn on with the, you know, the sort of Dalmatian-y type detail, I would call that. And stitched on at the bottom, and then yeah, she's got a little, the camera picks that up, a crest piece there, like a crown piece with a bead there. They do move around a bit, the beads sometimes. Yeah, so the only changes I made were the necklace I've shortened here. I obviously stuff all the way up my arms and all the way up, excuse me Queenie, her legs, because I don't like just stuffing the feet and having a floppy leg. I don't know why, I know sometimes it makes obviously the clothes difficult to get on, etc., because they're made for you to have sort of mostly empty arm and just a stuffed hand. And the same with the legs, but I don't like it. And I think that personally I like them to be able to be a bit more rigid, so that's why I've stuffed mine all the way to the little feet. So yeah, I've stuffed them so I don't think they stick out too much. I think that's what some people worry about, that the arms are going to be like out like this. I mean, they do stick out a little bit, but I do want to get a doll stand for her. So obviously if I put a stand on her, her arms are going to be out slightly anyway. But yeah, I mean, look, they sit down by the side of her. They don't stick out like she's walking around like a zombie. And the only difference I have done with this pattern as well is I have made the robe detachable. So I haven't sewn it to the top of the dress, which is what the pattern tells you to do. Only because I thought, so what I've done is, I don't know if you can see under there, I've just added some strings onto it and done it as a little tie. So I will take it off for you and show you. But I just feel like sometimes if you want to take the robe off and just have her as I'm difficult to fit her in. Sorry, I'm holding her really close. If you just want to have her without the robe, you couldn't do that because obviously she was told to be sewn onto the back of the dress, which is fine. You know, that is the pattern. I just decided I'd prefer to be able to remove, excuse me, Queenie, holding you up your skirt, and have her without her robe, so she can stand up without, or cape as I like to call it, and then I can make her a cape in all the colours. I'd quite like to do a purple one if I'm honest, like the amethyst from Toft. So I think that would be a lovely colour, especially as the theme for her Jubilee is the amethysty colour. So, I mean, for size against Michelle's head, there we are. She's probably a head and a half, maybe 2 heads long. I haven't measured her. I do actually have handy husband's tape measure here. Let's have a measure and see how tall she is from top to bottom. Oh, right, let's have a look. I've got to put it my way so I can read it and tell you. So she's about 37 centimetres top to bottom, roughly. Yeah, about 37. Tall, because obviously I've made her with strong legs. Excuse the... Ah, caught my finger. So I'll put her down for a minute and I'll show you. So obviously this is the mantle, the cape as I like to call it. And you can just sew these pieces, but the pattern tells you to crochet them in, which I have. Slightly annoying that you can see a little bit of the grey where you've sewn on the emblem, but obviously you're not going to have it generally that way around. So then all I did was I attached in these top 2 corners before I added on this top piece. So you can't really see it, but you see? I don't think it's picking up. So all I've done is 3 strands of DK of the cream and secured them in, and then I've plaited them and then knotted them. So I've done it to make it like, obviously, I'm assuming that's how the Queen wears her robe. She must have to tie it on. So yeah, that's the only difference that I've done, is that I decided to make it detachable so I can take it on and off Queenie if I want to. Like if it's a hot day today and she's getting too warm. So yeah, I'm really, really pleased with her. I'm really chuffed. There were obviously lots of beading bits, but I'd done the Jasper Quetzal at Christmas, so I have had a little bit of practice with the beads, but obviously the small jewellery, etc., you can see how small they are. You're just working in very little pieces and sections. So yeah, I'm pleased with how she's come out. I'm glad she's done now, because obviously she's taken me about a month on and off through, you know, I've been poorly as well at times and not been up for it. So yeah, really pleased with Queenie. Really nice pattern. So thank you very much, Toft, for that. And I have made it for the Welsh Tenors Toft Doll Cow on Instagram, because the deadline was the end of April. So just about made it, which is good. And it's quite nice that I finished it on her birthday. So yeah, that's Queenie done. So as I say, I want to get a doll stand for her, really. Keep her upright and present her somewhere, not sure where, in the craft room. So I immediately moved on to a new project. I will show you, I've got some skeins here of hand dye. So this is in reverse order because I have, you can see in there. So these are all my my Woolly Mamas rainbowy advent that came. So I had 24 20 grams that came in my advent calendar from Woolly Mamas. And what I've done is I've sat and put them in the order that I like. I'll try and pop a picture at the end because I took a picture before I caked them into these. And then caked them in reverse order, if that makes sense. So that's my last 100 grams I'm going to start with. This is my second to last 100 grams. You can kind of see some of the colours inside there. And then this is my second one I'll be starting with, because I'm nearly at the end of the first. Can't really see all of them in there. And yeah, so I have started with my first. This is currently what's left. And I will hold up and show you without unpicking it all. That's not the word, but you know what I mean. Pulling it all out. Put my finger in the loop where I'm currently working. So I have started. Put my nose over the top. This is the Toft Tobermory shawl pattern. So I have never done a shawl before. It looks a bit dodgy where I started it at the beginning there. I'm not too sure I'm supposed to have this little hole here. But I think I'll just catch it in. And these are the colours so far that we've gone through in the advent. So I'm just going to keep working my way through. I think technically you only need 300 grams and possibly not even all 300 grams for the Tobermory shawl. It says 300 grams in 3 different colours because I think obviously you're changing colour. But I'm hoping I can just plan to keep going until I use all 400 grams up of these. I think it's more than 400 grams. It must be 480. 24 times 20, 480. But that is where we are at the moment. So we are headscarf type size at the moment. It's not too, I mean, if I were a headscarf wearing type person, that's quite pretty, but I'm not quite that age yet. Sorry, I'm not being ageist. I'm sure there are plenty of people that wear headscarves that aren't older ladies, but I'm not the headscarf wearing yet. That's quite pretty, I thought. So that's what we're working on at the moment. And I caked them last night and I started this last night. So it's not taking me that long to work up. It's just trebles all the way through, which I'm used to, which is good. I have to undone it quite a few times because it's keeping track, because one row would start with 2 trebles at the beginning, one row would start with 3. So I did mess that up a couple of times. Trying to do it late into the night is never a good idea, even with an easy pattern. But you want to make it right because you need to keep, if you look at the side, you need to keep them level. You don't want obviously a bumpy shawl. And I could notice that on a couple of occasions. I was like, oh, I've gone wrong. So yeah, that is what I'm working on at the moment. So I am planning to carry on with that. It's quite easy and straightforward. So I'll just keep going and see how long it takes me and how much yarn I use. Either that, or I was debating trying to do 2 and then trying to join them together and make it a double-sided one. But I don't know how that'll work, and if my tension's off, it could be problematic. We'll see. We'll see how long it gets and how big it gets by the time I carry on. But yeah, that is the current project, the Tobermory shawl from Toft. And I think that was a freebie little pattern in one of my crochet magazines. Yes, it was Crochet Now magazine. I think they released it in one of their Toft Quarterly magazines as well. But they have got it as a kit on the Toft website, so you can buy it and get the pattern. So yeah, that is now my current work in progress to be showing you. So hopefully next week we'll see where we're at with that. And then I think there might be a crochet along for another missing yarn jumper, the little short frill sleeve jumper that I made previously. But I also might then start my peony and my cornflower from Toft, because obviously hubby bought me the Flora Society from Toft for Christmas, and I got the first one in February and I haven't done it yet. And we're getting close. Obviously, I know we're only end of April, but May, June, and we'll get the next one. So I don't just want them sitting there. I do want to use them. But yeah, we'll let you know where we're at. So as always, thank you for watching. If you think of anything you'd like me to cover, do let me know. I do read obviously all the comments and reply, not necessarily straight away, depending on when they come through, but I will always read them and reply. So if there's anything you want to look at, want me to cover, I can show you my craft room if you like, as long as you're non-judgmental. I have tidied it, but people will probably still look at it and be like, you know, depends how your level of tidy. I mean, I'm an OCD cleaner, but in terms of my craft room, I have a lot of stuff. It's all like tidied in boxes and things, but there's just a lot of it. So yeah, I'm quite willing to, now it's tidy, I'm quite willing to sort of give you a quick look at what the craft room looks like. It's also my working from home office at the moment. But yeah, if there's anything, I've done some technique videos. If there's anything you struggle with that you would like me to try and show in a video for you, let me know. If you want me to go through any particular Toft pattern, or any patterns really, there's Toft that I like, Wee Willy Wonderfuls. I just got a couple of new books actually, I should have shown you those. They're I don't know how to say it, kawaii crochet garden books. So I might try a couple of little projects with some leftovers, like hand dyes that I've got, little scraps, because it's got some, there's a garden one and there's a food one. So the garden one might be quite nice because I've got a lot of leftover, but only small amounts of hand dye. So yeah, let me know if there's anything you want me to show you, or want to see, or want to know. But yeah, as always, thank you for watching. Have a lovely week, and I will hopefully see you again next week for more ramblings and wafflings. I will be getting one delivery, definitely, because that hasn't arrived this week. So yeah, and we'll see where we're at with my shawl. But yeah, have a lovely week, everybody. Take care. Bye.